Hello, hello. Welcome back to Not My Monk Life. My name is Skye.
And I am Ayesha.
Thank you guys for joining us for another podcast, regularly scheduled programming with us. We are very consistent. We've recorded two in a day. For this episode, I want to throw out the idea of us talking about pretty privilege. We know it's there's a lot behind this topic, so this might be just the first part of very many to come, and it'll evolve over time. But to kick us off, I wanted to get into.
Sorry, there's someone. I was really trying not to. I was like, I'm not laughing at this person, but there's someone like throwing up outside.
I cannot.
And it was just a sound.
Someone screaming earlier. Is it the same guy?
I don't even know if
really
you're
is
puking or
well
just
different.
making that sound because that's a New York thing.
That is too
Like
much.
you would just.
You would. You said you would just throw up outside my window.
But it's funny because I was telling my friend all the issues that I'm having, and he was just like, well, at least you have a good view. Y'all, my view is the trash cans for the apartment complex. These rats dumpster dive. Like they play cannonball into the trash cans.
It's a rat Olympics.
It's like they're the normal trash cans that you wheel out for your house that have like, just the normal size trash cans with lids, not like big dumpster size things or anything. And these rats will like lift up the lid with their strong bodies and then climb in. That's my view.
One day we'll write this movie. The story of the dumpster rats.
I want to throw something away and a rat jumped, but it couldn't jump all the way out. So it just jumped up slightly and fell back down. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, do I help you? Do I leave this open? Like, what goes on?
He said, I'm too pretty for this.
Which brings us back to our podcast topic.
Free privilege and what is the cost? So bringing it back to the topic of pretty privilege, obviously discussing what that privilege looks like, but what cost is associated with it. Okay, so this actually came to mind earlier today, and let me know if this is just a wild place where my mind is going, but I think there's a lot of basis to it. I was thinking about modeling and how obviously models are like, they have a specific look. Everyone says, oh, they're so beautiful, da da da. And my mind went to the reality of like, you take these young women, oftentimes they're like in their mid-teens, late teens, and throw them into this like really cutthroat industry. And you put them into a space where their beauty is now completely and utterly like, now it's like a source for everybody else. Like now it belongs to the world. It belongs to the magazines. It belongs to the television. It belongs to the photographers. It belongs to every single other person. You put them into a system where you break them down. And like, I think that physical beauty is something that is seen as like a source of power. You have some influence over people if they like the way that you look. And so you see that inherent power that you're carrying, because we all agree that apparently your face is in season. And you put them into a system to break them down and have them question like everything about themselves. Because it's like a space to go into. Like it's something that breeds so much insecurity and so much sadness. And not every model is insecure and sad. But that industry is very, very, very hard, and it really challenges your sense of self. And so you're taking women who have this, and men who have this built-in something, je ne sais quoi, and throw them into something to break them down. And even similarly so, like people who are like talented actors, you put them in stuff, you give them accolades, and then you start to break them down, where almost their sense of worth has to not belong to the people. It can't belong to themselves anymore or to the art itself. If they want to hit a certain level of success, like it's continuously taking the power away of something that is so inherent, whether it's your talent or your physical beauty or whatever. It's like stealing it from you because it's too powerful for you to have. And I wonder, like, because I can't imagine this has been the case for all of history. I think at some point someone said, you know what, we're going to start doing this. Obviously, people had value women, but that's also not all of history when women were used as like a source of like trade between like, you know, different families and groups of power to connect the families and da 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 da. And physical beauty helped in that, but also what that is has evolved over time. But it feels like an intentional thing to do in my mind because I feel like even maybe a decade or two ago, like it wasn't okay for people to inherently like feel beautiful. Like the biggest like song by One Direction was "You Don't Know That You're Beautiful," and that's what makes
what makes you beautiful.
I remember I heard that and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like she doesn't know. That's what's great. But if she knew, then she's full of herself. And I'm like, if you get catcalled enough on the street, if you get grabbed enough when you're just trying to mind your business, if you get yelled at by strangers enough, you realize, oh, a lot of people have agreed that they like my face and body. And that makes me beautiful socially. It doesn't make you feel beautiful. Like, that does not make you feel beautiful. It makes you feel like an object.
But I think okay, that's a really good distinction. But so we have this episode on the glorification of catcalling, which I feel like we should put out the entire episode because we have all our clips pulled. But I was like, this is good. This content.
I need to rewatch it. Maybe you will.
Yeah. But I think that because behavior like that is normalized, where it's like you have this, people form this expectation and this comfortability, not around the cat. It's not comfortable to be catcalled or grabbed or harassed on the street, but it becomes a norm. Like it becomes something that's expected of like, okay, when I go out, this is going to happen. Or like, you know, at the very, let's not even go to harassment, but it's not a surprise when people are like, you're really pretty, or there's like this comfortability that builds on people just seeing you or like seeing a part of you or like this very surface level thing or just like an attractiveness or whatever it is. And I think that because of the emphasis through not just media, but reality of going outside and like that becoming a sense of validation, or that being something that you encounter a lot, like the compliments and stuff. I think that there's not always that distinction of feeling beautiful and being seen as beautiful. It's the same thing. Like hang on, real quickly, little mini rant. It's the same, a little controversial sometimes, but the whole body positivity movement or like taking back your beauty or like that sense of women empowerment through, I'm going to take this like photo that it exposes myself and stuff like that because this is me taking back my power and me taking back my beauty. But it's like, no, because of how indoctrinated we are into the male gaze, it's still taken through the male gaze. It's just now you're you're choosing to give this rather than like there's an intentional difference. Like there are some intentions where it's very much like you can tell, but I think that's what like my point with this is, because of how ingrained certain things are and like this idea of validation is, it's not always able to be seen. And so there's this confusion of like just because I see it for myself now or I see that I'm beautiful, sometimes it's hard to dismantle and like get out of the narrative that brought you to it. Like I'm seeing this because this was shown to me through this lens, rather than I'm seeing it because I stepped outside of this lens that's actually objectifying me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So no, that's like a whole
it looked like
journey. It's a very interesting journey that I feel like we as women have to have a lot of grace for ourselves, because it really is us like fighting our way out of the matrix. and everyone's at
Yeah,
their own pace.
you don't know any other way. So like
there is no other way.
it's yeah. And like I want to clarify, because I'm not like shaming it or anything. It's a normal part of the process. And I just think that because it's so clearly like, dang, you can see how empowerment, to some extent, sometimes, not every time, has also just become re-emphasizing or like rewriting the objectification from someone else. Now it's like self-objectification to some extent. Sometimes, again, like situationally speaking, but when you see that, it's like giving that grace and compassion and like holding that space, because it is hard. Like it's hard to see outside of the only thing you've ever been exposed to.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It just like there's so much in what you said. But piggybacking off of it, it's also finally realizing what doesn't feel okay in your body. So it's one of those things where like, I don't know, like when you're young, like you learn what a crush is and whatever. It's like, it's when you get nervous. And like, there's a certain thing about like the catharsis and not realizing what is just catharsis and what is affection and love and attraction. I think that we're taught that if we're uncomfortable and nervous and whatever, that means that we like somebody, like we like them, or we like this experience. So this thing happens, like, oh, I must like this experience, even if you don't fully, you're just not, it's not clicking for you. And that's where like you'll have conversations with other women about something that maybe you've experienced, and you realize that, oh no, you were uncomfortable for a reason, and that discomfort was valid. And then you kind of feel everything. So maybe it's like certain comments. I know I've had moments of like, just, you know, I think I've had men around me before, women too. But what I'm thinking of right now is a specific person who they've said little comments over and over and over again that made me a little uncomfortable. But because they were my friend, I was like, oh, it's fine. Or there was like comments on like my legs. So I was wearing a dress. They're like, oh, you have just like really great legs. Like, okay, I don't think a guy who's my friend should really be saying that, but also I do have great legs. So he's got to say it. Do I love hearing it from him? No. But he's my friend, so I'm just going to let this happen. And just little comments that are like building up where I'm like, this is uncomfortable, this is uncomfortable, this is uncomfortable. But he is my friend, so his intentions cannot be bad. And then you find out a month or so later, his intentions were not innocent. They were to objectify me, to have whatever those thoughts are, to he wanted to sexualize me. He was sexualizing me when I wasn't around. In ways that were so far beyond anything that's, you know, okay. And then you sit and you realize that those were red flags, and I can't put logic to these things that the people say anymore, just because I trust them because they are my friend. If they say something that makes me uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable for a reason. I actually had a friend that told me this recently. He's known me for literally ever. And he's like, Skye, you know what your problem is? You think that you're crazy and everyone else is normal. Because I'm like telling them stories of like times where I was just uncomfortable. He's like, you're uncomfortable for a reason. That's weird. And I'm like, well, I think that I'm like, I see myself as kind of abnormal. And I see myself as experiencing life in an abnormal way. And so there's been a good chunk of life where I'm like trying to put logic behind experiences and explain them away and let people be who they are. And I put my things on the back burner.
That's so important though. Like I just want to pause and give a second for that, because that sense of feeling like you're crazy and other people are normal, rather than like, okay, no, that behavior is all abnormal and this is like sanity. But there are so many things, especially when talking about like a world built on power imbalance. So much of the world is going to be abnormal and is going to be normalized, but it's not normal behavior. And so, especially I think women, there is that correlation between like women and being crazy and like, okay, women are just insane and psychotic and stuff like that. It's like, okay, why do we have our moments? Let's talk about like what abnormal behaviors lead us to get to that point of like losing. What is being tolerated that shouldn't be tolerated, and questioning those things in between, because it's so Like the amount of times I've had women specifically around me just have to remind me like, hey, you're not crazy, and it still doesn't click. Like even now it's like I don't understand how I can't be crazy because the entire world seems to be doing this or seems to be tolerating this and putting up with this, and like this is the accepted behavior. And so feeling weird about that, feeling uncomfortable by that must mean that, oh, I have trauma. Or like,
Literally.
I just operate differently. Or like, Gen Z, I'm just autistic. Like, all these things and labels. It's
autistic.
like, no, I'm just me. And it's like, this is not normal. We haven't been conditioned in these ways. And so that's why we're just uncomfortable. And that's chill. Period.
That's okay.
We don't need to find logic for why we feel uncomfortable. Just move towards the situations that feel comfortable, and you'll realize that those are usually the situations where you also feel safe in because it's objectively a safe situation and there's nothing funny going on.
Yeah. 100% yes.
Yeah, like having to reflect on that and be like, wait a second. This feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, but it's actually safe. But safety is not a feeling I'm familiar with. And so like the distinction between discomfort that arises from just a lack of familiarity. Skye, your face.
Because you just said something.
But yeah, like seriously, like, and that's why I think body work and understanding where you feel these things is so important, because the distinction between a discomfort that is out of, no, I'm not safe here, my body's not safe, versus, oh, I'm just like not used to people not sexualizing me. Or
literally where my mind went. Like, have you ever walked into a room where no one was objectifying you and you're like, do I need to go to a new city?
I mean, like, there are definitely plenty of times where I'm like, okay, it's just because I look ugly today. Like, I'm not getting attention because something's off with me. Or like, yeah, there's something going on, or like my energy's really small. I'm just out of it. Like, I always associate a lack of gross attention with, okay, I'm just out of it, or something like that doesn't even make sense. But it's like, oh no, I'm just really in myself today, and this is just a safe space. Like, no one's looking at me in a way that is dehumanizing, and that's good.
And even like, I don't know, my mind is jumping to a space of like women being this. I don't remember. I don't know where this is rooted in. I know it's rooted in something where women are kind of encouraged to have a sense of competition and like, oh yeah, okay. So it's like that like popular girl in high school is really pretty and everyone is high-key objectifying all of the time, but she's your biggest enemy because everyone wants her. But do you know what that girl's dealing with? Oh my goodness gracious. And probably it's dealt with, it probably goes so far beyond your high school or your middle school. It goes to her parents' friends, to grown adults at the grocery store. Like, so just a young girl who's like developed. Like, now everyone hates this girl because she's like is fully developed at like 13. It's like, why are you why is she now your enemy? She has to fight the world.
Like, yeah, and it's like she's a child still and doesn't know the difference. So if she lashes out and is mean, like, I'm
no, I understand. I
understand it now. Like, look, I'm like, yes. Now I really get that, because I remember cheerleaders in middle school, for instance, like would post stretching videos and stuff like that, and the comments would be disgusting on YouTube. I can look back and be like, dang, your psyche couldn't even process that. Like, you didn't know what was going on. And I don't know if you still really understand it, or if you really sat with that, because you might have just had that constantly, to where, I don't know, a lot of women haven't had the space to actually sit with the amount of attraction, energy, like subconscious and conscious, like all this stuff coming at them, being fed to them, being enforced, validated. So yeah, like I can now hold a sense of compassion and grace, and also hold boundaries of like, okay,
Don't be mean to
nice
me.
to each other. Don't like, yeah, exactly. Don't be mean to me. Don't have an ego. But
hold on,
I don't want you in my space. But I can like
know
see where
like
it comes
that.
from. Yeah.
Like fair
Like,
enough, but
yeah.
stop.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. But
I definitely get it. Like I don't know if we would have ended up mean, but I fully understand what it's. I know if we'd be too concerned about everyone else's feelings, like I couldn't imagine.
That's our next episode.
That is our next episode.
That's our next series.
All of 2027. That's how we start every episode. No, I want to jump back to, because even you mentioned the thing of like it being super, super normal for people to like talk to you and be like, hey, you're really pretty or whatever, just like throughout the day. And I do want to talk about the difference of, because it's a beautiful thing when someone acknowledges you and goes, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. Bye. That's great. That's so like, it's encouraging and it's sweet. Something that happens too often is people seeing you, liking something about your physical appearance, saying a compliment to you, and now you owe them something. And they talk to you for the pure reason of the fact that now you owe them something. So they will stop you on the street. One, you owe them talking to them. I've had grown men get upset with me because I didn't stop to talk to them when it was 11 p.m. at night and I was trying to walk home. There's no one else nearby. I'm so sorry, huh?
That is a whole thing. The amount of men that have gotten mad, like literally yesterday, I remember someone walked back because I wasn't even paying attention, but it was just like, I said hi and I was like, I didn't even see you, sir. But also like,
also you're a stranger?
Hold this expectation. Yeah. But it's New York. There are so many people. I've learned, because I used to try to make eye contact with every single person and smile because I'm from the South. I can't do that anymore. Purely for the reason that I get drained by the time I walk to the end of the block. Because there are too many exchanges. I still don't think it's locked into people's minds of like the way women need to walk through the world out of survival. Like if a girl brushes you off or isn't the nicest, that's fine. Like it's not personal. It's just the fact that there's been enough people, specifically men, there have been enough weird men and weird interactions to where like that's self-protection. And I hate like walking through the world or feeling like more often than not I need to be on guard or like not, like I would love to be able to smile and hold a conversation with everybody, but people are weird. And my time and energy is mine. And there's only so much of that. And if you're going to be mad that I respected my time, then I don't want to talk to you.
Also, you shouldn't be talking to anyone. Like, if you're going to be mad at people, go home. Go home and wake up on the right side of the bed. But, like, I even think about, like, as a woman, because I will compliment people. And I think with men, I'll just kind of be like, hey, I like your outfit, or you have a really nice face. That really, apparently I word that weird, but that makes them feel really good. But especially with women, it's usually like hi, excuse me, make eye contact, find a consent to continue speaking. You're really pretty. Bye. Like, it's not like, hey, it's not forcibly entering their
yo,
bubble.
Shawty in the tight pants.
Hey yo, Shawty. Your body is crazy.
I can see a booty jiggle from here. No. No, it's like, I like what you said about establish eye contact, or like establish that sense of basic connection that allows you to tune in and see if it's okay to continue talking. Because there are a lot of people that it's like, there are a lot of times that I just like I just can't be like, I can't take that in.
You can see it in your eyes. It's just like, they go, hey, you just look at them like, and they're like, never mind.
And then you're going to feel weird about that interaction and take it personally because you didn't pick up on social cues. Like, there are so many times where there are nice men that say stuff like it's nothing weird. It'll just be like purely passing, hey, you're really pretty, and I'll just keep walking and it'll take a second to process. But it's just like I was just not in the space to enter. Like I wasn't here.
You're ready to be perceived.
Yeah, exactly. And like then I feel really bad because I'm like, okay, I hope they didn't think, because they actually seemed cool, but it's just because the other block back I had a weird interaction. But it's just like saving that mess by just, if you really want to, you know, allow someone to be seen, make sure they're in the space to be seen in that way. And like, you know, that's a whole other conversation, because that requires a lot more than just
that's really real though. I think I've even experienced that in like dating, where there should always be consent to be able to enter a certain energetic space with people. And I've definitely run into men where it's like they're in a mood and you're about to join them. And you're just like, I'm definitely not in whatever mood you're in. And they're like, it doesn't matter because I'm in my mood. And they expect you to they're just gonna grab you and yank you with them. And I'm like, that's just terrible.
It's not fun.
That's just terrible.
Anyone at the end of the day.
That's just a terrible time. Like, there's no looking to be like, hey, where are we today? Like, where are you? Where can we go together? It's like, this is what I'm on, so you're going to be on it with me. Whatever it is. Like, it could be just the two of you, something, you know, a little whatever. Or it could be like wanting to like hit the town. Like, you're hitting the town with me. It's just like, maybe I'm not hitting the town with you. Like, there's so much to that, where in any good relationship, any good interaction with any human being, you are looking for consent to enter a space with them. And for some reason, that's not always taught, because someone's convinced themselves that if I compliment this woman's appearance or objectify her in whatever type of way, that's just what we're doing now. That's what we're on. That's the time that we're on. Is it 12 p.m.? Is she alone? Is there no one else nearby? But that's the time that we're on right now, so she must ride with me. It's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Have more fear in your heart, sir. Please. More fear for men in 2026. You're right, awareness. More awareness.
I think the issue is that men do fear but don't acknowledge their fear, because I think a lot of men are scared of women's reactions to things, because a lot of them like walk on or feel like they need to walk on eggshells, so overcompensate by stomping on women or like stomping on whoever they're around. It's like, wrong. I feel like I have to walk on eggshells, so I'll stomp. But yeah, so maybe
that is so real.
Acknowledge your fears. Yeah, like take a look at your fears, because you have them.
I hear the same thing with like people using different pronouns and stuff. It's like the people who are the most afraid of being judged for getting it wrong are those who are like so mad about using them. Whereas like, I'm gonna probably get it wrong. I'm gonna try my best. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
Like, please forgive me. Like,
it's so real.
If I've known this one thing for so long, I will try my best. Please forgive me. But I'm not afraid of like, you're not doing it on purpose. I'm not afraid of, I'm really not afraid of anyone's reaction if I get their pronouns incorrectly, because I hope that one day would tell me and I'd be able to fix it. And I know I care. And like, even if someone did get mad at me, I can't imagine that happening. I would still hold myself accountable and still respectfully use the correct pronouns moving forward, even if they were really mean to me. Don't be mean to me. But even so, I would still do that. But I'm not afraid of someone getting mad at me about that.
I'd have a conversation first of like, can we just acknowledge that we're both doing our best? And I understand that this is a big thing, but this is also a new thing. And yeah, please don't
that's all that people ask for. That's one of those things of like the not all men conversation, the not all non-binary people conversation. No one has that conversation, but it's a similar conversation of a few people may have had really over-the-top reactions to something that was maybe jarring for people to see. It's not It's not a high percentage. It's a small percentage. That doesn't mean that that interaction wasn't uncomfortable. We can still recognize that. But don't let that one video that you saw on Instagram of someone who's non-binary maybe berating somebody make you now despise non-binary people. That's
Yeah, for
not the through
anything.
line here, guys. That's just not how that that's so unfortunate to me. That's sort of like propaganda. I don't know if propaganda is the right word, but like it's unfortunate to me when people see something like that and it like shapes their reality without ever experiencing anything and anything. Like they've never met someone with like a pronoun that's not instinctual for you. Like they've never even met a person like that before. But they like
Yeah. It's just like interesting though too of how media algorithms, like how we're fed certain things too, because it's like this does not need to be our reality. We do not need to be putting energy towards this stuff. Like
mm-hmm.
this does it what there are so many more things to be mad about, or so many more things to be offended by, or to anything, like whatever, that also just remembering where you're putting your energy. If it's something that really hurts, and I'm not saying like stuff like that or just someone lashing out because you got something like that wrong, like that is very jarring, but like watching a video about it and seeing it and like suddenly it's just all people in general because you didn't understand it initially going in and now it's like validating that,
Yeah.
whatever it is, because there are a lot of things I see that I'm like, I don't fully understand where this is going, especially in our generation. I'm like, I have my own thoughts and opinions and like confused but simultaneously just being aware of like where you're putting your energy, your mental energy into, like what is holding your space of judgment and opinions. If it's centered around things that are not really one getting to like the root or the source, if it's just noise, then you're choosing to allow that in your space at the end of the day too. So
It is like it's so interesting because with the whole algorithm that like feeds and like um establishes like different thought processes for people. I was telling my friend this because we see each other memes all the time on Instagram, and I was like, my Instagram algorithm is so weird right now, and it's like making me mad. It's feels like it was written by like a man, no offense men, but my algorithm is so weird. It's like women sexualizing themselves. Is it your algorithm too right now? Because mine got weird. It's like weird violence. Oh wait, there,
can you
microphone.
okay, it's so weird. I was talking to someone because my Instagram, I deactivate my Instagram like decent amount, or I had mine deactivated, and I logged back in. And first of all, Instagram, everything changed, and two, I was so surprised. I talked to someone about this because I was like, "Is your whole feed now like kind of just porn?" Because mine before was Tupac and Michael Jackson videos. 13-year-olds are allowed on this app.
That's weird.
Because it's crazy. Like every video is just like booty and breasts, and not like a dance video, because I do get a lot of those too. It's like pure just objectification and hypersexualization of women's bodies. Like I don't know how this came about. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was really confused. I was like, what is going on?
I don't know what's happening because mine is women objectifying themselves, men objectifying women. It's also like videos with like an undertone of violence. Like
yes.
Yeah. It's that, and then it's I don't know what it's like, it's just that realm of stuff that I cannot, like it's all, I'm like this because I'm like this has to be what like young men are like seeing, because I feel like it's like I feel like it's geared towards like a certain like sense of humor of like just building how you see women. It's building how you see violence, how you see all this stuff. Where I'm out here like, because I'm like out here watching the video and going, this is kind of weird. Oh, that ended weird. Next one. That ended weird. Next one. That's immediately weird. What? And like these are not getting better. And this is someone's normal. I'm so jarred, and I feel like I can't scroll through Instagram anymore. And it happened shortly after, like, I think it's whatever their attempt is to have an algorithm that has any competition with TikTok. Whatever they did, I highly dislike. I highly
I
dislike,
don't.
highly, highly, highly dislike it so much.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's uncomfortable, and it is very alarming, and it also is putting me into this really insecure headspace that I don't like being in because I feel like like a secure person until I'm given a reason not to be.
Your audio is not quite back yet. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing the mic to get back to me. Getting it together for the viewers.
Said it disconnected, and I was like, why? I didn't do anything. It's the algorithms, it's the technology.
It's the algorithms.
No.
Instagram
because I can't
does.
even remember my point anymore. I'm like, darn. Oh, I was talking about security. Unless I'm given a reason. If I'm in a relationship with someone and they give me a reason to be insecure, like a girl is texting them and it's very clear that it's like, hey, this is very flirty, or like you guys are
she's in love with you.
talking. Yeah, and you're kind of engaging it and in love with her back. Like, then I feel insecure. But yes. I'm not out here just feeling insecure for no reason. Or like, and I use insecure in like I don't feel stable in this dynamic. Like, I don't feel like there's this stability or something's being honored. And so having social media feed all these things, like, I've realized that I've been getting in my own head, so much so that I talked to my own person about this, because I was like, hey, I'm noticing that on my Instagram feed, I have a lot of this stuff. Are you seeing a lot of this stuff?
Are you seeing it too?
Because you're a man, so I can't even imagine. It's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, interesting. So let's talk about it. Like, what is this doing? Because to be honest, I feel a little bit weird about the fact that this is like being fed to you constantly.
Fair.
And like having that open conversation that's all I needed, is just to be honest about my feelings. Social media, although it's a very social public thing, is a very private intake of information. Like, it's a private consumption. The stuff that you're being conditioned to see, the stuff that is going through your head, like you feel very private to some extent looking at what you look at and liking what you like and like whatever. Like, it's very public, but at the end of the day, there's that sense of, okay, well, he can't see how many times I'm looking at his feed, or like whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
There's like that illusion of privacy, even though it's a very public
That's
app.
Wild. Like, it's like privacy to just stalk people and they'll never know. Except for the fact that I will know. I figure stuff out so fast. Please continue.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just disturbing because men already do, not men, sorry, I'm now generalizing. People already do whatever they do. I'm purely speaking from my own experience and conversations. But people do whatever they do in general. And so when you're going out of your way to find certain things or to like look at certain things, and now it's like, okay, now it's just effortless because it's all just coming to you. So much of it is coming to you all the time. People argue that it desensitizes you, but it's like, no, it just puts it in your brain and that's your reality. And those become your standards and expectations and your sense of reality. So like when you see women and the objectification of women, it just reinstills this sense of, yeah, it's just a body, but it also is still doing stuff. Like, it's now you're dehumanizing the body and like by definition objectifying the body.
Yeah.
Okay, like, I mean, I'm like jumping to the way extremes.
No, but I think it's true. But I think it also even influences your opinion on what women are okay with. And I think that's like a part of, it's something that I've kind of witnessed with young men when they get older. Like, they grow out of their teenage years of like, they just saw this stuff on TV and they heard so they think that this is how I talk to girls. They grow up and they realize, oh no, this is how I interact with women. Like, I think part of that too is the things that they like take in is how they expect women to look, how they expect women to act, how they expect women to respond. Like, even just like music videos of everything that all I could see was just like women, just like 5 women twerking on a man. Like, that's all I can really see when I just think of music videos. And then you get older and you realize the humanness. You get closer to like women as friends and you realize just what actually takes to interact and respect women. But I do think that's one of those things where, like, with that sort of social media, it kind of reverses that clock and it reinstills these different expectations. And I think, especially for people who don't interact with a lot of people of the opposite sex, but even like, I have guy friends who are amazing and beautiful, but they don't really talk to me about women or ask me questions about them. Like, we don't talk about like their dating lives and stuff. I'm here if they want to talk about it, but I feel like for people, they'll gain a lot of their opinions on different groups based on social media. It could be their opinions on like Black people, or their opinions on women, or their opinions on people who are gay. Like, whatever it is, they'll gain it from social media, and it can really warp their minds. I think if you have a motivation towards women, whether you're a man or a woman, whoever's like attracted to women, and you have a motivation towards women that's like romantic and sexual of nature, and you are shown all this stuff on social media and maybe like certain shows and television, you will then approach women with a certain lack of respect and dignity that can be surprising. But also, if you are a woman who is constantly absorbing that content, you are going to do that thing that we talk about where you convince yourself that you're crazy and this is actually okay, and you're actually okay with it, and you'll eventually become okay with it. And so when you show up and you're actually like, that's weird that you did that, that's crazy, it can really throw people off their game. It can make them better people. They'll do better in the future, but it really reestablishes how they see this group of beautiful people that they want in their lives, that they're attracted to, but you're kind of being trained and taught that they're not the same sort of person that you are. I think like it's important for like women, I can speak for like women and like men, to like see men as people, and like see men as like, they're kind of like raised differently and trained differently, and here are the tools they're working with, and here's maybe why they struggle with communicating their feelings, and here's how I can show up to help them because I was trained to do that. Da, 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 da. And I think women are raised to have more space for that. Whereas I don't know how much men are raised to intentionally hold space for women as like fully formed human beings, just because of like so much of the media, movies and television, they don't they didn't flesh out their female characters. They were just side characters to support a man's growth. And that can be just kind of how you see women if you're not careful and intentional with like shaping that.
Bringing up that sense of, this isn't what I was gonna bring up, I forgot it, but what you were saying about women as side characters, as like supporting characters, it's even interesting like what defines that, because women in media, it's like all men are after or like all it's what is constantly being fed, but it's not in the state of this powerful group of people. It's like these people who have power over, but you have power over them too. It's like that. I'm just rambling. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm just thinking out loud.
Tangentize.
Defining support, just like the portrayal, something that's constantly in your face, whether it's through like how like what is being talked about, or like the end goal, like this is, you know, I want the woman, or like whatever it is. And not saying, obviously I'm generalizing like a lot, but yeah, I lost that thought entirely.
The tangent ran off without you.
I think I started running off without the tangent first. And then the tangent stopped and halted.
To catch up. The tangent gave up.
That's exactly what was happening. I was like, okay, where you at though? Because I'm right here. I'm gonna keep going.
Even the whole thing of like, you don't know you're beautiful, that makes you beautiful. Some men are like, I have to tell women that they're beautiful, and they'll only feel beautiful if it's coming from me. And that might be a very hyperbolic way of approaching it, but it's low-key, it's funny because it's the opposite too, where like women aren't really raised to like stop men and tell them that they're good looking at all, but men really want to hear it. They want to be told that they're pretty.
I think about that all the time, because I Yeah, like because also I realized I'm like, I don't even know what compliment men want because I'm over here telling my person, I'm like, you're really pretty. You're like a gorgeous human being. Like all these words that women are used to hearing too, just because I don't like the word handsome. Like I mean, I'll use it, but I'm like, I don't know.
Handsome
That's just
is
not a
different than
natural
pretty.
word. What?
Oh, I was just saying handsome is different. Like a boy can be pretty. And that is the
Yeah,
difference
no,
with being
there are boys that
handsome.
are like, yeah, they're
Like really
beautiful
pretty.
boys, pretty boys. And but there's also like I try to beware of the fact that some men can find that to not be like masculating enough. Like it doesn't feel like a masculine term, but it's, and I get that, but I'm like, you can think of so many ways to call a girl attractive. You can, there's lists, there's ways to make it formal, ways to make it like informal, ways to sexualize it, and like there are for men, but the list is like 5. Like it's not that many.
Handsome, good
And
looking.
it's, I was about to say it's me just saying handsome in different languages. I'm like,
Yeah.
guapo. Like,
Guapo. Ayo, guapo.
it's me just using that same word. But I was thinking about that because I'm like, I love being able to compliment men, but also I don't, it would be cool to be like, you have a nice face, but I'm not attracted to you. Like, just because I can see your beauty doesn't mean that I'm attracted to you. I don't want anyone to think I'm giving someone the indication that I'm into them, number one.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like there's also a double standard. Like a guy with a girlfriend can think another girl's pretty and think another girl's cute, and it doesn't have to mean anything. It does a lot of times, but it doesn't have to mean it. Like because they're like, no, I can see that these women are beautiful, but like you're my girl. But for women, there's kind of that double standard sometimes, to where it's like that's not as much of a talked about thing. We don't talk about how, you know, we can think the same thing. Which, you know, I shouldn't even be the spokesperson for this because I just started acknowledging physical attract, or like not physical attraction,
I'm like, I don't
physical
know how much
attractiveness.
I can say on it, but...
I'm looking at you as though we're masters of this because Skye and I, as we've talked about in other podcast episodes, it's like we, us, and being able to be like, he's cute takes a while. Like,
it takes time. It's just not, it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't realize back in college, I like some friends who helped me realize that people will look at people and be like, I want to kiss them on the mouth right now. They like see them, be like, I want to kiss them, I want to touch him. And I'm like, never, never. I don't see men and go, I want to be physically intimate with you right now. Oh my gracious. But do I sometimes get like, sometimes though, my heart, I will like, they're so, like, sometimes they're so pretty. I saw someone yesterday that was so pretty. They were so good looking. I thought about it after. And that's like such a great day. It's like, oh my goodness, that's not every single day where you're just like, oh my goodness, they're so pretty. But that's, and then the end, you know, it's like, now we're moving on. It's not, wow, they were so beautiful. However, can I now be one with their body?
Seize them. Yeah.
However, can I seize
them? What can I do to keep their body in my thoughts and in my body?
And in my body.
Yeah. And that's something like I want to talk to you more about in future episodes because I feel like just the way we operate in the world is very different from how media portrays people. And I don't think it's actually that abnormal. I'm like, I really don't. Like sometimes we talk about it as though we're the only people who will be like, wow, you're just like the most beautiful person after we get to know them, or like the only people who look at someone and don't want to immediately sleep with them, but can be like, okay, I can see how you think they're pretty. Yeah, there's a lot of things when it comes to that, but yeah, I'd love to just talk about that at some point because I also want to see. I want to. Maybe that's where we bring someone else in on the episode too.
Okay.
I'm just thinking out loud because I'm just curious. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, who are we gonna talk about attraction? Are we crazy or are you? I do agree though. I don't think it's just us, but I do think it's like a quiet group of people because it just differs from what we're shown. We've been shown for so long.
Yeah, and like I feel like for the longest time, I know we've been talking for a second, but yeah, I know that when you're fed certain things, you kind of like feel growing up that you have to conform and say certain things in this way, or like, you know, you're trying different personalities out. And it was very fast for me to realize, like, no, I don't know what you guys are talking about when you say that.
Literally.
Like, they'll be like, look, that guy's so cute. And I'll be like, oh yeah. And then realize the person I'm looking at isn't even who they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just was trying to agree.
One of my favorite stories is when it's something, I don't know if I'll go through the whole story because it's such a sweet story to my heart, but it's a story of my friends where they saw a guy. They're like, oh, that guy's so good looking. And I was just like, huh, who? Behind that guy? Behind that goofy looking guy? And they're like, what? Him! And they, along with a lot of people, were like, he is the most attractive person we've ever seen. I'm like, hey, period, slay, he's great. He's a really great guy. He's a really amazing guy. I just thought that was so funny in the moment. But it is interesting because I think I realize I'm coming to terms with the fact that I'm a very romantic person. Like, that's, I think, where all of my feelings are, like, very based. And, like, I have a very romantic mind. And, like, I romanticize just, like, those romantic relationships. I'm out here just, like, like, my mind goes to all the cutesy, unicorn, sparkly, build the castle together stuff. Not to the, like, get down and dirty and stuff. Like, my mind goes, like, all the we're just in a field with a river and, like, everything's beautiful. It just jumps there, which is totally fine, but it's just not the normal. The normal is a little bit less you know, cutesy tootsy than where my mind and heart go. I lead with my heart, not with my other parts. And that's okay.
Oh, we just got our quote right there for that episode.
We just got a quote.
We started with pretty privilege, and I guess it all relates into some capacity.
We'll jump back into pretty privilege on another episode and probably approach it from a different angle and then run off in a whole other direction again, as we love to do, as all good conversations do. But thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you again soon. Don't miss us too much. We'll be back. Bye.
Bye.